Hello and welcome everybody to our Functional Fitness Friday class. I'm your instructor Quinn, and we're going to be going through some really great movements today that I hope will help with a little bit of strength and control, and just working on some things that you commonly find yourself in these situations throughout life, making sure that we're training the right muscles, getting the right movement and mobility, and having a good time while we're doing it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to hop into our cat-cow exercise. So that's going to be loosening up the torso and the back, as I'm sure you guys know from, sorry, got a little message there. As you guys know from probably any yoga classes you've taken, or you may not know at all. Then we're going to go into our bird dogs, one of my favorite exercises. Hey, Sue, thanks for hopping in. Just getting started here, going through the warm up, just explaining things a little bit. Going through our bird dogs. Getting our torso and our arms and our legs all connected, trying to find that connection from toe all the way to fingertip. The next step is going to be our squat to extension. So kind of putting everything together, getting loose, getting activated, and then moving through all of it. That's where we come down, extend up, and extend our hands overhead as we come out of our squat. The next we have is our single leg raises. So this is going to be the start of our workout. We're going to be heading onto our back, bringing one leg up at a time, swinging each leg back and forth as we get those feet up. Next, we're going to have our single leg glute bridges, where we're going to be popping into a glute bridge on one leg, holding up at the top, bringing the other leg down and extending the other leg out, switching back and forth, getting some good work onto some stability and control, working those hamstrings. Next up, we have our kneel to squat. So starting on our knees and popping up into a squatted position, dropping back down to the knee. And then we have our split squat. So working through a split stance, loading position, getting that weight over the middle of the foot, really trying to activate both the front and the back side of the leg as we go through there. After those, we're going to head into our upper body a little bit, work on our shoulder cars, getting nice big circles and rotation, trying to open up the chest and pull that shoulder back and down, getting it into the nice spot so we're neutral with our balance from front to back. Next, we have our prone overhead press. So we're going to be laying on our stomach, hands out to the side, extending the hands out overhead and pulling the elbows back down, pointed at the hips. Next, we're moving into our bent over tees. So very similarly, but this is just going to be in a standing position to engage the legs a little bit more, coming out wide, working on that middle back, pulling those shoulder blades down into the back and opening up the chest as we come out wide, really pinching together and activating those back muscles. Next up, we're going to go into our rotating lizard. So just working on a little bit of rotational work and getting our hips opened up again. And then finishing off with a strong set of eccentric push-ups. After that, we're going to go through our stretch session, which is going to be about 5 minutes, working through some hip hamstring mobility. If you have anything that you would like me to hit, you can drop it in the chat and we can make sure to get that covered for today. And then working with a little bit of spinal mobility as well. We'll finish off with our guided breathing session at the end, which will be about 5 minutes as well, doing some box breathing and some 8 to 10 inhale, exhale holds and stuff like that. Okay, so getting started, we're gonna head into our warm up. So we're gonna drop our belly button down to the floor, curving out the spine, tilting our head up, popping into our cow position and pulling up into that cat, arching out the spine, maybe getting a little shift through the shoulders and the hips, getting that torso nice and loosened up, really trying to think about how we're pulling and pushing through each side of the body. And relaxing out, getting into a set of bird dogs. We're going to be on our hands and knees, extending One foot, one hand, opposite sides out, getting a nice little hold at the top and coming back down, switching out, extending that hand and foot out in front and coming back down. Getting that stability through the core, nice and even. And one more each side. And finishing out. Good. We're popped up onto our feet next and doing our squat to extension. So getting our feet about hip width apart, we're going to lower our hips down and pop up onto our toes, extending the hands up overhead. Driving that weight up through the middle of the foot and popping up onto the toes, getting a nice reach at the top and coming back down. Just a few more. Nice and even pace. And done. Very good. All right, we're gonna head into what I would call our workout portion now. Now we're a little bit loosened up. Got everything feeling good. So we're gonna start with our single leg raises, laying flat onto our back. We're gonna suck that belly button into the spine, pulling that lower back down into the floor. You can get your hands underneath the hips, just to get a little bit more leverage there. Pulling that belly button in. We're bringing one leg up at a time, giving a little hold, and lowering back down. Switching sides, bringing that foot up as straight as it'll go, and coming back down. Nice and even pace. Really trying to pull that back into the ground. Keeping that belly button sucked in, nice and tight. Just got a few more here. And done. Good. Next up, we have our single leg glute bridge. So we're going to lay flat on our back still, tucking the heels in towards the hips. So getting our knees bent up, pointed at the ceiling. We're going to get up into that glute bridge. Now you might want to try and bring your feet real close together here, because as we go into that single leg by kicking our foot out, it's going to get really hard to stabilize if our feet are spread out wide. So you want to bring those feet into the middle and just kicking out one leg at a time while keeping those hips up in the air, trying to really work into the hamstrings. Couple more, kicking out. Keeping those hips up. And done. Good. Next up, we're going into our kneel to squat. So starting with our knees down on the ground, we're going to stand one foot up at a time, getting up into our foot and bringing the other foot up into the squat, lowering back down, coming up and switching. Getting a nice even pace, coming up and down. Nice and easy. Keeping that weight over the middle of the foot. Popping up into the squat and dropping back down. Almost there, a couple more. Very good. Back and forth. And Done. Good. Next up, we're gonna head into our glute kick backs. So dropping down onto our hands and knees. We're gonna get our hands directly below the shoulders, sucking that belly button into spine. From here, we're gonna extend one leg back behind us, bringing that heel up towards the ceiling and lowering back down. Getting a nice big swing back. Whoops, that could have been a problem. Careful not to kick anything behind us. Getting a nice big swing back, bringing that heel up towards the ceiling. Kicking back and forth. We're gonna stay on the same leg. And in a couple of seconds here, we're just gonna switch. And go ahead and switch sides. Nice even pace. Bringing that heel up towards the ceiling. Keeping that knee pointed down towards the ground. We're not opening up the hip. Just keeping everything nice and straight behind us. Almost there. A few more. And done. Good. Next up, we're going to go into our split squat. So, getting our feet nice and spread, we're going to get 1 foot forward and slowly lowering ourselves down, getting that weight over the middle of the front foot, feeling that knee tap behind and coming back up. Driving that knee out past the toe, keeping that weight over the middle of the foot, loading through the back side of the leg as well, and just driving that weight back up. Nice and easy. Good, even pace. Staying on the same leg. And switching, bringing our other foot forward, stepping that foot back, and lowering down over the middle of the foot. Getting a nice little drive through the foot and the heel, coming back up. Trying to think about loading the back side of that leg a little bit as we come down, as opposed to feeling it all in the front of the leg. Want to be able to try and balance through to both sides here. Almost done. And good. All right, nice job. Next up, heading into our upper body a little bit here. First, we're gonna get into our shoulder carves. So, getting down onto the ground on our hands and knees with the shoulders. We're gonna start with extending one hand out in front, pointing that thumb up towards the ceiling. As we come up past the ear, the hand flips open, reaching back towards the hip and swinging down to the ground. Coming back the other direction, same arm. Reaching past the hip, opening up the hand, and swinging down to the floor. On this side, we're extending out, reaching back and behind, bringing that hand to the hip, and swinging down. Reaching back the other direction, coming around and over. Next, same, or other hand, second time. Sorry, it's hard to talk sometimes. Coming back around, swinging up and open. All right, very good. We've got our shoulders all nice and loose, working well. We're gonna head into our prone overhead press. So laying down onto our chest, we're gonna get our hands out to the side, picking up our hands and our chest. We're gonna get them nice and high, fingertips level with the elbows, and extending out overhead, pointing those fingertips out forward like we're diving into a pool, and coming back down, pointing those elbows back towards the toes, keeping that chest up, shoulder blades pinched together, and extending out overhead, pressing those fingertips out, getting a nice hold forward, getting all those adjustments through the back, and pulling down, getting those elbows pointed at the heels, extending out overhead, finding our pace, getting a nice little hold in each position, and sliding back down, back and forth. Few more seconds here. And done. Awesome, nice job. We're gonna pop up onto our feet here, getting into our bent over tees. We're gonna have a nice little squatting position that we're gonna have by driving those hips back, bending the knees forward a little bit. We're gonna lower our chest over the ground so that our hands can point straight down and we get a little bit more range here from gravity. So we're gonna swing out to the side, stop at 90 degrees. And same thing that we were doing with that back before, where we're pinching those shoulder blades together, keeping our shoulders nice and low away from the ears, trying to pull them down towards the hip. As we swing those hands up and open, really trying to work through the middle of the back here. Nice and even pace. Keeping that squat the whole time, belly button stuck to spine. Nice and controlled. And driving up. Good. Next up, we're gonna head into our rotating lizard. So getting 1 foot forward, we're gonna drop your hands down to the floor here, driving that knee forward and picking that back knee up so that we're scooching that hip down towards the ankle. We're gonna bring our inside hand and rotate up towards the ceiling, getting nice stability through the shoulder and the hips as we get a little stretch there as well. Coming back down, picking those hips back up, driving our opposite knee forward, bringing the hips down and rotating up. Getting a nice stretch through the hips, a little bit of stability through the shoulder, rotating down, hips come up, foot back. We're gonna go one more on each side, getting a nice stretch and little rotation. And switching sides. And dropping down. Good. Last but not least, we're going to do our eccentric push-ups. Okay, so these can either be done on your knees or with your feet extended back, but the hand position is going to remain the same. So we're going to get them right on the outside of our mat here, getting our hands right below the shoulder, just outside the chest. Your belly button wants to be sucked up into the spine, getting your torso nice and tight, shoulders pinched back together. And from here, we're just folding those elbows back towards the hips, lowering the chest down and driving nice and quick back up. Now these are eccentric, which means we're going slow on our down phase. I try and aim for about a 4-second count on my way down. And then we're driving all the way through the top after a little bit of a hold at the bottom. All the way down, little pause, and driving back up. Nice, even pace. Almost done. And finished. All right, sweet. So we're gonna head into our stretching portion and guided breathing part of our routine here for today. So the first thing we're gonna do is gonna work with a single leg hamstring reach. We're gonna bring one leg into our hips, bringing our foot folded inwards, and we're gonna reach out towards the other foot with our hand. Getting a nice stretch through the hamstring. Trying to lower that chest down towards the knee. Pulling those toes back towards you. If you can't quite reach your toes, go ahead and just grab your shin and try and pull yourself down in towards the knee. Nice deep breaths, feeling a stretch through that hamstring, all through the backside of the leg. And switching sides, getting our other leg extended out, other knee folded in, and reaching out to the side. I can find with this one too, if I open up my shoulder a little bit and bring my hand up and over, I get a nice big stretch through my lower back as well. Really reaching out and getting a big stretch. Helps with some of that lower back pain. And coming out of that, we're gonna bring both feet together into the middle. And using our elbows, we're gonna press down to the side and try and lower those chests towards the feet, getting a nice stretch through the hips. And coming out, we're gonna bring one leg up and over the knee and hug the shin into the chest. Getting a nice stretch through the outside of the hip here. One leg coming up over the shin and hugging it into the knee, getting a nice stretch right through our glutes and our IT band and our piriformis. You know, not quite our IT band, but the muscle that connects to the IT band that makes it all tight. And bringing that knee down and lowering the chest down towards the shin. Good. Now switching sides, bringing that other leg over the knee and pulling other leg in towards the chest. And dropping that knee back down, pushing the knee to the ground and lowering our chest to the shin. And extending out. All right. For the last couple of minutes here, we're going to head into our guided breathing portion of the session. I will be leading you through a couple of box breaths and doing a couple of longer inhales and exhales just to finish things out. So our box breath for today is going to be a 5-second inhale, 5-second hold, 5-second exhale for a 5-second hold. Continuously going through that until we head into our 8 and 10-second counts. So starting right now, we're going to inhale 5, hold, exhale, and hold. Inhale, hold, exhale, and hold. Inhale in, hold, exhale out, hold. Last one here, inhaling in, hold, exhaling out, and hold. Now we're going to breathe in for 8 seconds, breathing in, hold, and exhale. Breathing in, and hold, exhale out, and one more breathing in, hold, and exhale out. And finish. Very good. All right. Thank you all so much for coming in, hopping into the session. I appreciate it a lot. I hope you enjoyed and have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend.
Thank you, Quinn. You too.